This is the story entitled Lon Po Po. It was written by Ed Young. It's actually a story that's quite old and it's been retold, which usually means that no one is really quite sure of who the story originated with. Right up here in the corner you'll see a picture of a medal, and this is a Caldecott medal, and it means that they won Best Picture Book for that year, which was 1989. So, which means you're going to really enjoy the illustrations. Now, this story is very similar to a story that you have already probably heard of. I'm not going to tell you. You're going to have to just figure this out for yourself. Lon Po Po. There's a dedication here, which is kind of an odd one. I'm go ahead and read it to you. To all the wolves of the world for lending their good name as a tangible symbol for our darkness. Here we go. Once, long ago, there was a woman who lived alone in the country with her 3 children, Shang, Tao, and Potsi. On the day of their grandmother's birthday, the good mother set off to see her, leaving the 3 children at home. Before she left, she said, "Be good while I'm away, my heart-loving children. I will not return tonight. Remember to close the door tight at sunset and latch it well." So here's the picture of the mother waving goodbye, and here's her 3 little children, and you can see the sun is starting to go down. But an old wolf lived nearby and saw the good mother leave. At dusk, disguised as an old woman, he came up to the house of the children and knocked on the door twice. Shang, who was the eldest, said through the latched door, "Who is it?" "My little jewels," said the wolf. "This is your grandmother, your Po Po." "Po Po," Shang said, "our mother has gone to visit you." So here's a picture of the wolf, and he's disguising himself as the grandmother. The wolf acted surprised. "To visit me? I have not met her along the way. She must have taken a different route." "Po Po," Shang said, "how is it that you have come so late?" The wolf answered, "The journey is long, my children, and the day is short." Shang listened through the door. "Po Po," she said, "why is your voice so low?" "Your grandmother has caught a cold, good children, and it's dark and windy out here. Quickly open up and let your Po Po come in," the cunning wolf said. Tao and Pouts could not wait. One unlatched the door and the other opened it. They shouted, "Po Po, Po Po, come in!" At the moment he entered the door, the wolf blew out the candle. "Po Po," Shang asked, "why did you blow out the candle? The room is now dark." The wolf did not answer. So now I'm wondering if it's starting to take shape, another story that it might remind you of. Tao and Poutsy rushed to their Po Po and wished to be hugged. The old wolf held Tao. "Good children, you are so plump." He embraced Pouts. "Good child, you have grown to be so sweet." Soon the old wolf pretended to be sleepy. He yawned. "All the chicks are in the coop," he said. "Po Po is sleepy too." When he climbed into the big bed, Pouts climbed in at one end with the wolf, and Shang and Tao climbed in at the other. But when Shang stretched, she touched the wolf's tail. "Po Po, Po Po, your foot has a bush on it." "Po Po has brought hemp strings to weave you a basket," the wolf said. Shang touched the grandmother's sharp claws. "Po Po, Po Po, your hand has thorns on it." "Po Po has brought an owl to make shoes for you," the wolf said. At once Shang lit the light, and the wolf blew it out again, but Shang had seen the wolf's hairy face. So now when I'm thinking about them touching the wolf's tail and thinking that something was wrong, and then touching the wolf's foot and realizing that there was something sharp on there, it kind of reminds me of another story where the wolf was pretending to be a grandmother, and the child, one little girl actually, was questioning about my, how sharp your teeth are, and my, how big your eyes are. So it's kind of coming together, reminding me of another story. Po Po, Po Po, she said, for she was not only the eldest, she was the most clever. You must be hungry. Have you eaten gingo nuts? What is gingo? The wolf asked. Gingo is soft and tender like the skin of a baby. One taste and you will live forever. And the nuts grow on the top of the tree just outside the door. The wolf gave a sigh. Oh dear, Po Po is old. Her bones have become brittle. No longer can she climb trees. Good, Po Po, we can pick some for you, Shang said. The wolf was delighted. I'm wondering what Shang has got up her sleeve. Shang jumped out of bed, and Tao and Pouts came with her to the gingo tree. There Shang told her sisters about the wolf, and all three climbed up the tall tree. The wolf waited. Here he is waiting, and they're way up here in the tree. He waited and waited. Plump Tao did not come back. Sweet Pouts did not come back. Shang did not come back, and no one brought any nuts from the gingo tree. At last the wolf shouted, "Where are you, children?" Po Po, Shang called out, "we're on the top of the tree eating gingo nuts." Good children, the wolf begged, "pluck some for me." But Po Po, gingo is magic only when it is plucked directly from the tree. You must come and pluck it from the tree yourself. So again, we're seeing how Shang is trying to outsmart the wolf. I wonder what's going to happen next. The wolf came outside and paced back and forth under the tree while he heard the three children eating the gingo nuts at the top. "Oh, Po Po, these nuts are so tasty, the skin so tender," Shang said. The wolf's mouth began to water for a taste. Finally, Shang, the eldest and most clever child, said, Po Po, I have a plan. At the door there's a big basket. Behind it is a rope. Tie the rope to the basket, sit in the basket, and throw the other end to me. I can pull you up." So it sounds like the plan is starting to come together. I wonder what she's going to do. She's going to put the wolf in the basket and pull the rope and bring the wolf up to her. The wolf was overjoyed and fetched the basket and the rope, then threw one end of the rope to the top of the tree. Shang caught the rope and began to pull the basket up and up. Halfway, she let go of the rope, and the basket and the wolf fell to the ground. "I am so small and so weak, Po Po," Shang pretended. "I could not hold the rope alone." "This time I will help," Tao said. "Let us do it again." So I wonder if the wolf is going to fall for the trick a second time. The wolf had only one thought in his mind, to taste a gingo nut. He climbed into the basket again. Now Shang and Tao pulled the rope on the basket together, higher and higher. Again they let go, and again the wolf tumbled down, down, and bumped his head. The wolf was furious. He growled and cursed. "We could not hold the rope, Po Po," Shang said. "But only one gingo nut and you will be well again." "I shall give a hand to my sisters this time," Poits, the youngest, said. "This time we shall not fail." Now the children pulled the rope with all of their strength. As they pulled, they sang, "Hi, Hi-yo! Hi-yo! And the basket rose straight up, higher than the first time, higher than the second time, higher and higher and higher, until it nearly reached the top of the tree. When the wolf reached out, he could almost touch the highest branch. But at that moment, Shang coughed, and they all let go of the rope, and the basket fell down, down, and down. Not only did the wolf bump his head, but he broke his heart to pieces. I wonder if Shang had discussed with her sisters that I'm going to cough and then we'll let go of the rope. It sounds like they were together in this plan. Po Po! Shang shouted, but there was no answer. Po Po! Tao shouted, but there was no answer. Po Po! Pout shouted. There was still no answer. The children climbed to the branches just above the wolf and saw that he was truly dead. Then they climbed down, went into the house, closed the door, locked the door with the latch, and fell peacefully asleep. So the wolf was gone, and they were now completely at peace and not afraid to sleep in the house. On the next day, their mother returned with baskets of food from their real Po Po, and the three sisters told her the story of the Po Po who had come. I can just imagine how much emotion was in that story. So, at the end of the story, and if you guessed Little Red Riding Hood, you're right. This was a Chinese version of Little Red Riding Hood. The characters and some of the plot were changed a bit, but certainly a lot of the elements stayed the same. There was a big bad wolf in both stories, and in both stories the wolf pretended to be a grandmother. In Little Red Riding Hood, however, there was just one granddaughter, and in the story of Lon Po Po, there were three granddaughters. When you look at Little Red Riding Hood, she was the one who went from her house to her grandmother's house by herself, and which put her in some kind of danger. And then in the story of Lon Po Po, the mother left to go to the grandmother's house and also left her children in danger. In the end, with both stories, the wolf died, and they seemed to be able to go on living happily ever after. The end.